Hey Archery Talk, this is Lucas, and the big brown truck just dropped off another bow for our 2024 hunting bow shootout. It is the Bear Whitetail Maxx. I just got this bow in, so tonight I am going to get it set up. I'll run it through the chronograph. We'll talk about draw cycle. We'll do all that in a little bit. First of all though, let's talk about specs. This bow has an axle to axle length of 31 inches, a brace height of 6.5 inches, and an IBO rated speed of 339 feet per second. What really sets this bow apart, however, is the price. Now, this is not Bear's flagship bow. This is, I would call this kind of their mid-market segment. This bow retails for $600 or $700 with the ready-to-hunt package. That would come with, you know, your sight, your arrow rest, a small stabilizer, things like that. This bow, however, just came bare, so I'm going to set it up with my own accessories, and we're going to get this thing raring to go in the near future. I have not shot a bear bow long-term in a number of years now. This is a Legend Series bow. I think the last bear I had in long-term was also a Legend Series bow. I believe these are dealer exclusive, so these are not bows you can pick up online. You got to go to your local dealer and have a look at it yourself right there. So yeah, this bow is pretty much half the price of any other bow I'm testing this year. So we're going to keep that into consideration, you know, when we're doing the final comparison. But on its own review, we're going to look at this bow strictly on its own merits. And we're going to dig into all that, you know, in the coming weeks and months when we really get a lot of shots through this bow. But for now, let's go and set it up, and we'll come back and talk about draw cycle and speed. All right, I am back, and the bow is set up and ready to shoot. I have dressed this bow in a Rocky Mountain 5-pin sight. This is a sight I've had for a number of years, a budget-friendly sight that is rock solid, and I would happily put it on even the most expensive bow. I've got a QAD HDX arrow rest, and I've got a Hamskea Raptor peep. I have not put a stabilizer on this bow or anything like that for the time being, although I will play with those going forward. Setup on this bow was fairly straightforward. I had to move the mods around a little bit. It was set over here to about 29 when I got it, so I've got it at 30 inches of draw length. It's measuring to me at about 30 1/4, so pretty close as most other bows are ever going to get. The weight-wise, I had the limbs absolutely maxed out to get to 70 pounds. I had to mess with the cables a little bit. I found my draw stops were hitting, my bottom was hitting a little bit before my top, so I twisted the cable here rather, just to give it one full twist, and everything was aligned as I could ask for. And then I started the tuning process. So I ran the arrow, again, dead straight through the burger buttons, as simple as can be. And I had it at 13/16, which is usually my starting point. It ended up shooting better for me, through paper at least, at about 12/16 or 3/4, but that's a small issue. And then, yeah, it took maybe 5 or 6 shots to get it really perfectly dialed in to exactly how I wanted to shoot it. And accuracy-wise, it's shooting great. No complaints from me whatsoever. I put, again, maybe 40, 50, 60 shots so far tonight. I've been messing around with it a good bit. And it's shooting plenty accurate for me. I'm just at a 20-yard range right now, so I have not shot any farther than that. But at 20 yards, it's stacking arrows as well as any other bow I've shot this year. And for a bow that costs half the price, that is a win in my book. Now let's talk draw cycle. I just recorded a video a few minutes ago where I went over that very thing. All right, let's get started, and I'm going to draw back the Whitetail Maxx for you. I was pleasantly surprised with how this bow felt to shoot for a $600 bow. With a speed like that. Like, that is a really nice draw cycle. I would call that a flagship level draw cycle. Let down, not too bad. It's right now I've got this in 80% let off. You can make it 75, 80, 85, or 90. I think if you went to like a 75, the let down would probably be a little easier because you're closer to where the cams are going to rotate. I think at 85 or 90, it'd feel maybe a little more aggressive, but at this is pretty nice. And again, I am pleasantly surprised by the draw. No real hump. You know, you have to pull through like you would any bow, but it's not bad. And after the shot, you know, the bow is not vibrating much. Keep in mind, there's no stabilizer on here, just the dampeners that come on the bow. But it's a pleasant feeling bow to draw. I am very much looking forward to seeing how this performs with the chronograph in a little bit. I'm going to do that just after I finish this, but man, it's the draw for a 339 IBO bow, it feels nice. And it shoots plenty accurate too. I've shot, you know, 50, 60 arrows here tonight so far. And it's shooting as accurate as the flagship level bows. Realistically, there's a lot to like about how this bow feels for me in the early going. So after looking at the draw cycle, I was very eager to see how fast this bow was through the chronograph. So I shot a 350 grain arrow and a 455 grain arrow through my chronograph with the bow, again set up at 30 1/4 inches of draw, 70 pounds of draw weight. With that lighter 350 grain arrow, I saw speeds of 332 feet per second, 331, and 332. That is just 7 foot per second slower than the advertised speed. That is ahead of the curve for most every other bow I've shot this year. I think only one bow, maybe two, have been closer to their advertised speed, so really happy with how that's worked out. And if you shot this at the 75% let off, you might even get another foot or 2 feet a second quicker, but that's negligible to me. With the heavier 455 grain arrow, I saw speeds of 295, 294, and 295 feet per second. I am super happy with the speeds this bow is producing, especially when you compare it to the draw cycle. This bow is faster than more than one bow, I believe, that I've tested so far this year, and there's at least one more coming in. And those are bows with, again, comparable advertised speeds that cost twice as much money. There is a lot to like about the Whitetail Maxx. It's not all sugar and spice. There are some small issues for me, but most of that realistically is fit and finish. I find the printing on the limbs already looks maybe a little faded. The sides are kind of showing some wear already, and this bow has not been anywhere except in its case. It's never been on a bow hanger. It's never been anything like that. But I think that's what you're going to get when you're spending half of the price you would on a flagship level bow. The grip, I'm not a huge fan of. It may feel a hair narrow and rounded. Whereas I kind of like a very flat grip front, but that's just personal preference. Your mileage is going to vary on that. But bottom line, the bow is, again, it's a treat. $600 with the ready to hunt package. It's $700. That is incredible value. I was a little surprised when Bear said this was the bow they wanted me to test against all the other flagship bows I've got in, but I could see why. It's super impressive. It was the Alaskan XT that I shot at the ATA show, which is a bow a level down, I think, even from this one. And I really liked how that shot. It was a great low-priced package bow. And so I was kind of hoping I would get to test that one, but I'm thrilled they sent me this one. For this price point, I am over the moon. I'm going to really try to put a bunch more arrows through this before we do the long-term review and the shootout. I will get back to you with those results as soon as I can. In the meantime, thank you so much for watching. Please do like, share, and subscribe. It helps the channel an awful lot, and we'll see you again soon.